So a team that have a lot more positives than the Texans do in terms of draft and capital that they can play with, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay, this is another one that if you were playing NFL GM and like somebody came to you and said, you can be the GM of any team but your favorite one, who do you want to go to? There's a handful of teams, and this is one of them. This would be fun.
I mean, Jacksonville has the fun element of they've always been a bit garbage. Like they've never been incredible. So if you become the GM for them, bit of pressure off, less pressure on you to do as well. And you've got a lot to play with. And on top of that, you have the first overall pick. So you can pick whoever you want. And for me, they're going to pick Trevor Lawrence.
I agree. I did have said this before. I do not think it would happen, but I do believe part of Urban Meyer's like, I want Justin Fields because of the Ohio State connection. I don't think it'll happen, but I believe that was probably a discussion in that room. They better be having a discussion about Zach Wilson also. But if you're worried about optics and how you look, Trevor Lawrence is the pick no matter what you think, because I think he's a top prospect, and I think Zach Wilson is a top prospect. Personally, I think Trevor Lawrence has a higher floor. I think Zach Wilson may have a higher ceiling, but I don't think either of them are a horrible pick at all. And if you're Jacksonville, you get a quarterback, and then you got the 25th pick again, so you can go and upgrade your team there. And they have $77 million in cap room. Let me say that one more time. $77.5 million in cap room. Now, I don't know what they'll do with it, but they could go throw a boatload of money at Aaron Jones. They could throw a boatload of money at Galladay. They could throw a boatload of money at a defensive player. There's Jadeveon Clowney's out there if you want to try to take a shot at him. There's a Shaq Barrett. This is a team that could actually go up real quick if they do the offseason and the draft right.
Yeah, it's a situation you don't particularly want to be in because you'd rather be good already. But if you are in it, this is the way you want to be in it. Loads of cap money, first overall pick in the draft, a second first round pick as well. And then coming out at a time where people are having to cut players. So then you can hopefully get a few players on the cheap out of your massive cap money as well. What about Anthony Harrison, the safety from Minnesota as well?
I got Anthony Harris as an option, Justin Simmons as an option, Kareem Jackson as an option, and as of last night, Kenny Vaccaro.
Yeah, and Trent Williams to help out that offensive line as well. They've got all sorts. They can do whatever they want, basically.
I mean, and if you don't want to spend Trent Williams money, how about Riley Reef, who just hit the open market? Yep. I mean, the Giants are cutting offensive linemen. The Chiefs are cutting offensive linemen. We won't go into detail because we'll get to all that. But it's just like there's so many offensive linemen out there. There's so many middle-of-the-road defensive linemen who will be very solid for your team. There's safeties. We're going to see a lot more corners cut.
William Jackson III from the Bengals.
Yeah, well. I mean, if we're going to go to the Bengals, Mackenzie Alexander is going to hit the free agency market. I'm just saying there's corners out there that can really play who are going to get – they're not going to get the money they normally would get. So we're going to see a lot of 1- and 2-year deals so that they can hit free agency and hit money again. You're going to get some bargain deals on some solid players. And if you get a few solid players and start to turn that team around, they'll re-sign with you. And I know it's a little humid, but that's pretty good weather in Jacksonville. And like Texas.
State tax.
0 state tax. Yes.
Yeah.
Depending where you live, that's 8 to 12% more of your money.
Shaq Barrett would be definite. There would be a player in the Shaq Barrett trade. There definitely that works for him. Staying in Florida, not giving up his money for the state tax. They're probably one of the teams that can go and just take him from Tampa and just say, unless he's chasing rings. My only problem is, are those players wanting to go to a franchise which has historically been bad? Like they're not a great.
Depending what you're willing to pay them this crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Offseason, right.
Exactly.
And they have $77.5 million. They get to play the game like it's a normal offseason where everybody else has to play this money pinching game. They this is a good season for teams like them or the Patriots or whoever who got big money to retool their team really fast if you make smart choices and only sign guys who fit your idea and scheme for your team.
Yeah, and if you have that kind of money, then you can fix your needs before even getting to the draft, and then you can just add talent. And I mean, if you also have that kind of money, you can fix needs that are difficult to address in the draft. So people like cornerbacks, you don't know how they're going to translate to the NFL. So or just the secondary in general. So Anthony Harrison, great pick for them there as well. Or you can fix your offensive line, who's difficult to assess. Are they going to make it to the NFL? And then in the draft for your 25th pick, you can just draft some talent. You can just say, right, well, this guy's going to make our team look really cool. And that's usually where kind of wide receivers come into it.
Yeah, and if you're okay, there's the exception to every rule, but if you're starting a rookie on the offensive line, you're probably in trouble.
Yeah. There are obvious exceptions, but
say you're going to draft some young guys, you can even sign these vets on a 1-2 year deal with the money you have and let these kids learn before you move them in. Duval, I think you're in for a fast rebuild, and I think within the next couple years, Jacksonville is coming.
Yeah, I think, and the division that they're in is, again, not the most stable division. So they can kind of work their way through. I've got 2 potential draft picks for them that I really like that I've mentioned before. And it's kind of like just some talented guys who are going to make their team pop. And that's Zaven Collins, the linebacker from Tulsa, because I think he can kind of help them in coverage and their pass rush. He just pops off the screen for me when I watch him for the 25th pick. And Terrence Marshall Jr. from LSU, who I said would be a great fit for the Ravens, but the Jags could get him before the Ravens even have a chance to take him. And I think he would be a good weapon for them as well.
I love those picks. And for me, I was just going through who I thought might be one of the best people out there and one of the more harder positions to get a good guy. And I just went with Alabama defensive end Christian Barmore, but I don't even think he'll be there. But the way I did my draft, he was still sitting there, so I slotted him in.
Yeah, I haven't done a mock draft yet, so I'm drafting a lot of players to teams that are in the same area. Well, I don't know who's going to make it and stuff yet, but we'll do a mock draft later on.
Well, what's the old joke? There's 16 top 10 receivers in the NFL.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? That's so you can do whatever you want when you're just playing, playing GM. But
yeah, I just want I just want to say that Zaven Collins guy, his film makes him look better than Micah Parsons. I'm not saying he is better than Parsons, but his film he just pops off the screen, man.
Yeah, he jumps off that screen.
Yeah, there's just a few plays that you're like, oh, what? Like, how you need that on your team. He's the kind of guy. And as I said in the last episode, the last podcast, linebacker is going to become more and more important, and you want them to be able to drop into coverage and hit up your pass rush as well.
And if they want to fix their linebacking problems before the draft, there's guys like Eric Wilson out there. And, you know, I can keep naming guys, but there's guys, to me, Eric Wilson, if you're not looking for 3-4 linebacker, he's probably the best 4-3 linebacker on the market right now. But you can do a lot of stuff. And like I said, these guys aren't going to cost you, $1 billion because of the weird season. So I think Jacksonville is in as stupid as this sounds, COVID helped Jacksonville.
Yeah. And I mean, as a Brit, it would be nice to see the Jags do well, but also not do too well that all the fans start coming back. So if anybody's out there and anybody there in Jacksonville, do us a favor in the UK and don't go watch your team, because then they'll start playing in the UK and we could have a team with lots of young talent ready in the UK, the London Union Jacks rather than Jags.
This is a little off topic, and maybe you and I should do one of these later on about this. Yeah. But it looks like the XFL and the CFL are going to merge into an international league, and I bet you guys get a team if that really happens.
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely in the running for that. We're on a I've been looking more into the CFL since we kind of got told we're going to be on a radio station in Canada. So I've been looking a bit more into the CFL, and I've also been watching Last Chance U, and a few of their players Rewatching Last Chance U. I watch it every time it comes out. But like Ronald Ollie's playing in the CFL, and Malik Henry's in the CFL and stuff like that. So it is a fun league. Like there are players.
If you haven't seen Last Chance U, check it out. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Coach Snoop. Snoop is a really fun Netflix thing. That's hilarious, man.
And I don't know why, but I really got enjoyment off of Friday Night Tykes.
Friday night. This is what me and Jay do, everybody. We just love American football. Netflix is all American football.
Just so you guys know, if you caught what Maddie was saying, but don't really know what he was saying, we're in the works with a different podcast station right now, working on a contract. So we might be hitting a podcast station that comes out of Montreal, but will be worldwide. So stay tuned. We'll keep you updated on
we'll let you know about that.
How those negotiations go. But yeah, something we're working on. So that could be coming in the near future.
Thank you very much, guys, for listening to us. Really appreciate it.
Yes. And if any of you guys have a question or a comment, you can drop it in the comments below and we'll 100% address your question if you have it. If you want to drop it, I know some people like to do video questions. Private message me. We'll do a video. We'll pop your video up and we'll answer your question. Anything you guys want to do, follow us on Twitter on Yankee and The Brit. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, hit the notification button, Facebook, follow, and share. Also, we'll be hitting Spotify, Google, iTunes, all that good shit coming up. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We'll hit the the AFC East
AFC West. AFC
West. See, I can't even remember what we did anymore. We'll be at the AFC West next, which actually might have some exciting news over there too. Yeah. So stay tuned, guys. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.